Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just going to jump right into something that I want to talk about today, and that is your season of isolation, your wilderness season. I just want to emphasize the fact that number one, don't rush it. Don't, don't rush it, please. There is so many valuable things that you learn from being in your wilderness season, and I know it's lonely. I know it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for y'all. Like, these are tough seasons, but strength comes through struggle. Character is built through conflict and how we rise above that. So, I just want to encourage you guys as I get personal today, which is not something that I do very often, but I will get personal today because I feel that sharing my story and sharing what I'm going through at the moment is going to be very helpful for those who may be going through something similar or who may be experiencing something similar to me, and um, gaining the wisdom in the walk, if that makes sense. So we're going to jump right in. So first off, let me just apologize right away because I'm a little under the weather. So I guess you can tell by my voice, by the way I sound, very congested. I may sniffle a few times. I may even cough at some point. I do have my ginger tea with me. Don't mind it says Tim Hortons. There's no coffee in there. Um, but either way, this message is going to get out the way it's supposed to. So I had a really great conversation with my mom earlier this afternoon. One that we haven't had in months, and that was on purpose. I feel like 2024 was my wilderness season and my season of isolation. And this time, I didn't care who felt away. I really didn't care who felt away because I think I was at the point of I need to do this. Now, who walks into a wilderness season saying I need to do this? But there was something in me that was like, if I don't do this right now, if I don't get things straight right now, um, I may crumble. I may crumble. And for me, as a single mom, no, I can't afford to crumble. My child needs me. So I walked into that at tail end of summer, saying, forget everyone and everything. This needs to be me and God. And I feel like God pushed me into that as well. So what started that was at the beginning of 2024, I got into what turned out to be a disagreement. I didn't feel that it started off that way, but it turned out to be a disagreement and a misunderstanding of um, something that I had said that I came in with love, but apparently was not received with that. Sometimes it's hard for us to receive criticism, and I completely understand that. I feel the same way too. If someone were to come and check me on something, all depending on what it is that they're coming to check me for, I could feel uncomfortable about that. I felt uncomfortable about that before. Funny enough, with the same person in question. But as I took time to let it marinate and realize that the person was not coming for me or coming at me, but to hold up a mirror and say, hey, this ain't cool. What you doing ain't cool. And for that, I realized, okay, yeah, there's something to this. And having enough maturity to go back to that person and have a conversation and say, you know what, I didn't like the exchange that we had, though I saw your point, and for that I apologize. Keyword here is maturity. So not everyone has it. I'm not about to sit here and disparage that individual, but it's just to say that God was revealing to me that, not everyone can respond in the same way that you do. Not everyone that comes to you is for you. And so when people reveal to you who they are, believe them. Believe them the first time. Don't try to justify or, self-sabotage and think, oh, well, it's just me. No, it is what it is. Believe what you see. So it started off that way and just de-escalated into real jarring realization of certain people around me and why they are around me. Some who strongly dislike me, but yet still smile in my face. Some who were super dismissive, and the only reason why they were dismissive was because they saw something in me that I don't know if they personally wanted, were envious about, jealous about. For me, it's not really my business to decipher what it is that they're feeling, but to have those eyes to see. And I just started to really just kind of cut and trim the fat. And that was hard. That was hard because, I generally hold people in high regard. Now, I know that might sound crazy to you guys or to some of you, but for those who feel like me, you love people, you want to see the best in people. We have kind hearts and we want to share our love with the world, right? But not everyone is walking around with that kind of energy to receive and give back. And so that is something that, again, I had to really stand 10 toes down in the fact that, listen, not everybody likes you, girl. Okay, just because they're smiling at you don't mean they like you. So don't you dare walk around thinking that people are holding a high opinion of you when they could care less about you. And furthermore, when they show it to you, again, believe them. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is if ever you're walking through that wilderness season, like I had mentioned earlier, do not rush it, because like what I had learned, there are things that you need to learn, and you don't want to rush this process, though it may feel uncomfortable. I want to encourage you to push through that discomfort. It's like when you're working out for the first time or working out for the first time in a long time, it's gonna hurt. You're going to be moving muscles that you don't normally move in a certain position or what have you. So when you want to make sure that you don't feel that tension like how you were feeling before, we would take recovery. In workout, you have pre-workout, and then you have what you need for your workout, and then you have what is called recovery. And recovery is supposed to help you mend those muscles that you've just torn to death. So in this instance, your recovery is to go to God in prayer. Share all your frustrations. Share all the things that you are seeing, and whatever comes from that. But share with Him. Don't go through these things alone. Don't suppress them. Don't ignore them. Don't try to cover them up with something else. Go to Him in prayer. And that was one of the biggest things that I had to do this past year. And have those conversations, shed those tears, do all the things. Because at the end of the day, my concern, if you will, is not to become jaded or harden my heart as a result of the way people treat me. I have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. And so that was part of the process, learning to say no and liking it. I've gotten to the point where I'm actually in love with saying no. I'm not so quick to say yes. I'm a recovering people pleaser. Um, we could go into that because that is a trauma response. But we won't dive deep into that today. But it's just to explain that there's so many little things that I had to go through in order for me to start to come out on the better side of things. And that's why I say to you, I'm at the tail end of it, which is the better side of things. Being able to stand boldly in who I am, show up authentically, learn how to be more discerning of people, places, and things. And as I mentioned, being able to say no and not feel guilty about saying no. Just no. That is a full sentence, by the way. And stepping out boldly in fear. This is new for me. So God has mandated for me to do something. He asked me to do this 5 years ago, and I wish I was obedient then. But none of this is in vain. But he asked me to do something 5 years ago, and silly me in my immaturity went to go fact check with human beings who weren't part of the conversation. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we go fact check with somebody who was never part of the conversation about something God said to you? God is the fact check. The end. So now it's about walking into what he has called me to do and walking scared. And for me, that's a little exciting as it is intimidating, because of that wilderness season that I went through, because of the lessons that I had to learn. And there were some great things that happened along the way too, to build my confidence and build up my sense of taking risks, because that's something I didn't like doing. I was, kind of a play it safe girl. But now taking risks and seeing what I'm capable of, and not holding myself back. So now that I can really walk into what God has called me to do, I'm doing it with a sense of, I don't care if it looks crazy. I don't care if you thought I walked away from a big opportunity. I don't care if you thought I was 3 feet away from goal. I'm still 3 feet away from goal, but not the goal that you expected me to dig up, but the goal that God has for me. And so right now, my fearlessness is starting to increase, and my sense of I don't care is starting to increase too. And that's a dangerous combination, especially for someone who has had a level of confidence for so many years about who they are and their capabilities, never mind all the little things that, I still needed to work on, still kind of struggling with self-worth. We're never going to be 100%, healed or recovered from certain things, but we'll just know that when we see them coming, and we have the tools to navigate through all of these things. So I wanted to share that with you guys, to know that even though you saw me all through 2024, doing all the videos, smiling, laughing, joking, inspiring, motivating, if you will, I was still going through it too. And when I share things with you, it's not to say that I had it all together. No, I'm sharing with you the work that I've put in to get to this place in order to share with you. So anybody who's going through a wilderness season right now, where you feel alone, you feel super isolated, it's uncomfortable, I just want to, again, encourage you to push through. Life is of such that we experience highs and lows, There's a time for happiness and a time for sadness, a time for clarity and a time for confusion. Life is balanced in that way. And so we cannot escape discomfort. It would be crazy for us to escape discomfort because of the simple fact that it's the only way that we learn. So I get it. I'm with you. I've been there before. But again, I want to encourage you to push through, because what you get out of it, once you get to the tail end, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The peace that's restored within you, the joy, the sense of elevation, because now you've gotten to a different level where you're like, oh man, I wish I had that before, but thank you, Jesus, for having it now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, push through. This too shall pass.